That was great. Yeah, no, that was great.
All right, good.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you for.
So you have to do another one of these?
Come in early. Yeah, I've already done 2.
Are you serious? Yeah. Are you like all introverted out?
Welcome to the Front Porch with Brian Beaudry.
I'd like to welcome today's guest, Record 360's Customer Service Manager, Sara Brace. Sara, welcome to the Front Porch.
Thank you.
Let's start with the basics. I asked these 3 questions. Well, I asked the first 2 questions of everyone, and then the third question is just a weird one. Who are you? Where are you from? And what do you have on your fridge door?
Okay. My name is Sara Brace, right? You asked my name. Mm-hmm. I'm from Folsom, California. Okay. So it's right outside of Sacramento. It's probably the easiest way to describe it. And my fridge, actually. Okay, so nothing's currently on it because I got a new fridge, one of those French door ones, and it's not magnetic, which is crazy to me. I'm like, who doesn't have magnets? But just yesterday, Elf on the Shelf was there. You know, Mr. Elf. We call him Dobby in our house. He was there, and he was taped to it right above the water dispenser. So it looked like he was peeing, and my 2 little boys thought it was the funniest thing ever.
That does seem like a thing for little boys that definitely gets done a lot more with little boys.
So that was just there. He had to move because, of course, he moves every night.
Yeah. So. Okay, so now I have follow-ups. Why is he Dobby?
Oh, so when we first got him, we kind of just asked the boys, like, what do we think his name is? And I think I was watching Harry Potter at the time, and so they decided Dobby would be a good name. So it wasn't anything too creative other than that, but I like the name.
Okay, it works.
Yeah.
Okay, and I can relate. I relatively recently got a new fridge, and the door's not magnetic. It's like, what? But
yeah, the sides, only the sides. And I'm like,
I want to see the stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to have it on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it sucks because like we had like bottle openers that are magnetic, and it's like, no, but they're
we had a whole schedule. I had my like grocery list and everything. It was magnetized, and I didn't realize fridges didn't come with magnetic fronts. It looks like it would be. So that was very surprising to me.
That's right. I even forgot about the list. The list used to be on there, but I've gotten so used to them not being on there now that yeah. Okay, let's get into job history things. Let's pretend this is a professional podcast and let's do this now. Let's start way back at the beginning. Obviously, when you're a kid, people are asking you, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? Do you remember the first things that you were telling them?
So funny enough, when I was little, I think I was like 5 or 6, I think I said I wanted to be a professional pop star, like singer. Okay. This is before I realized I have no vocal abilities at all. So really, it had nothing to do with the music. It all had to do with everything else. So yeah, that dream got quashed pretty fast.
It is the beauty of being a kid is like you have no idea. Everything is possible.
Yeah. And then I realized I'm tone deaf and I don't even sing at karaoke anymore. Like there's just not even a chance you could catch me there.
Oh, well, I guess I'll cross off the karaoke questions. So obviously that dream was dashed early.
Yes,
what is it replaced by? Because you don't just be aimless for the rest of your life, I'm assuming.
No. A lot of different things. I kind of like went all over the place. I think probably before I landed where I'm at, I think nurse was on the table.
Okay.
And then I had babies and things changed and found that I was really good at what I do and in the like admin section of customer support and stuff. And so went that route instead. But yeah, I think for a minute I was starting down the road of becoming a nurse. So.
Okay, so it wasn't like the blood that scared you, because I've heard other people say that they wanted to get into it and they're like, didn't actually like the...
That doesn't bother me at all. No, it wasn't anything that. I was pregnant and I could not imagine trying to finish nursing school while pregnant. And I was like, you know what? I do need to work. So let's see what else I can do while I'm not up on my feet and figuring things out.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you go to school so you went to it for a little bit at least?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What else were you studying?
I was just doing general ed just to get everything finished to get into nursing school. So I finished my AA and then ended up falling into this other path and where I just didn't end up going back for a bachelor's or anything. But yeah, that was the plan, is to then get a bachelor's for nursing. So kind of just life came at me and changed.
I do kind of like that level of like, just get the general here at this like relatively inexpensive place. Yes. And then like if you want to go past it, then go, but you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a lot of on-the-job training, which is good.
Okay. I did a pre-production questionnaire with you.
did.
You mentioned that you worked at In-N-Out, which, there are In-N-Outs here, but no one that I've talked to has said they work there. And you told me that you got to a level 6, which didn't even know there were levels.
Yes.
I worked at like other fast food restaurants that didn't have levels, and it was very sad. So tell me, what are the levels?
Okay, so yes, it's so
Sounds
funny.
culty.
It does sound culty, and it like you can go up, and basically everybody has to start at the level 1. You start at level 1. Even the owner, Lindsay, she started in our hometowns In-N-Out as a level 1, even though she owned the company.
Okay.
And so they just believe in really building up the culture from the ground up. So you start level 1, which is cleaning the dining room. So everybody starts there. 2, you learn the register system. 3, you can choose headset or fries. And so those are actual specific positions. So when you see somebody on fries, they're generally a level 4. So they had to have been there for like 5-6 months normally.
Which one did you go to first?
I went to headset.
Okay. I like that there's a choose your own adventure path.
Yeah, there's definitely choose your own adventure. And I liked the register and I like talking. So it kind of naturally was easier for me. Whereas fries are very labor intensive.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you've seen them, but you're literally slicing.
The whole
so
chop.
the full chop, which can be very, very hazardous. So then you go to 5, which is what they call board. So you put the burgers together. So you're sitting next to the cook and you're actually you're reading everybody's tags because it's a simple menu, but you can make it complex. So you go to board, and then the 6th level is you are cooking. So I went all the way up to being a cook. I was there for 3 or 4 years. It was just kind of an easy early 20s job, which was great. And then after that, you go into management. And then there's 4 levels of management. And then you can get your own store and become, farther and farther up the chain. But I didn't want to do that.
Okay, so is it like level 7 or is it level 1 management, level 2 management?
So I think it's technically you're in level 7, but you're the 3rd manager, the 2nd manager, and then the 1st manager, which is the store owner. If I remember correctly on those ones, since I didn't get to those, I didn't.
I was sorry.
attention.
Now that you're the expert on it, and we're taking your word as gospel, so sorry.
Now, if I'm wrong, all the In-N-Out people are coming for me.
That's okay. We welcome the corrections.
Yes, please. Yeah, so it could have changed by now. I still have really good friends from there that. One of them actually runs a store out in Reno. And so it's a pretty cool career path. They have great company, great benefits, really take care of their employees. So
nice.
I enjoyed it. It was a good early 20s job for me.
When you're level 6, do you still do the other like lower level stuff?
Yeah, it just depends on who's on staff because you get raises as you go up. And so they staff accordingly. Okay. So everything is counted. So every fry tin, they actually count those every day. They have like an inventory. So they know how much what is going out and what's coming in, and they have to mark it. So if a burger comes back, they mark it off the inventory and say like that. So yeah.
Is that a manager tier thing or?
Yeah, that's a manager.
I was going to say, I remember working fast food. It's like, that was a manager thing. I'm like, I'm glad I'm not a manager. I don't want to deal with that.
It's intense there for sure. Yeah, but no, you can board was my favorite. I would have rather never become a cook. Like, it's gross. My husband always said I came home smelling like fried cheese, which was really nasty.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Seems like your first main job that you spent a while at, like after that's not really the In-N-Out career path.
Yeah.
Although it was customer service a little bit.
Yeah.
Was it you caring?
Correct.
So why'd you go to that role?
So it was kind of crazy. So I just had my firstborn. He was 4 weeks old, and somebody at my church actually posted like, "Hey, do you want to work from home? There's a customer service position."
Those are real?
I know, right? and so this was, gosh, is that 11 or 10 years ago? Because that's when my son was born. And I was so excited because I had just had a baby. And I was like, yes, please let me. And I interviewed for it. I got the job and kind of just like put me on the path that I am today. And started out at the very bottom and, just work your way up with you caring. And I think at the end I was a training manager there for all the customer support, which was, I think we ended up with 12 before the acquisition because GoFundMe ended up buying it.
Oh, okay. That seems like it would fit in with what GoFundMe is kind of about. It seems like it's about caring.
Yes. Yeah. It's all fundraising. It's all, that's what UCaring was too. It was one of the leading competitors to it. And so they just, instead of having a competitor, they just bought it instead.
That seems very convenient if you're able to do that.
Yeah,
I'm tired of competing.
I'm tired. Just
acquire them.
Yeah, let's just get all their business. So yeah, no, it worked out well for them. So yeah, and then GoFundMe, I ended up actually I got the call that we were acquired the day after I gave birth to my second son. And so then I transitioned on their like transition team, but I was basically on maternity leave the entire time. So
it seems like you're able to make dramatic changes in your life occur by giving birth.
Yeah, it feels like it a little bit. That's why I said no more. It's 2 and we're done. Yeah. That's it. That's all I need in my life.
I can't take any more changes.
No more changes.
Children, fine. But okay.
Yeah.
I saw on your LinkedIn that you had like a lot of different job roles listed under UCaring. So is that something that you're like actively seeking out, or is it something where it's like, I mean, hey, we kind of need someone. You're around. You want to take this on? Yeah.
I wear many hats and many roles. Have you ever heard of the Enneagram by chance?
I have.
Okay. So
is that a thing that at Record 360? Because Kat mentioned it when I talked to her as well.
So I think we're doing it a session this time around. I always talk about it. I'm one of the people that loves it, but I'm a 2 on the Enneagram, which is called the helper.
Okay.
And so like, I just find so much joy in helping people. Like some people, they do it because they're like, oh, I have to do it, but I actually find joy in it. So even when I'm working, I'm like, oh, how can I be helpful? And so I somehow get myself wrangled into whatever it is because it sounds like fun to be in the mix. So
is it fun to be in the mix?
I actually love it. I love feeling needed and helpful. I actually do like it. It's not like a pretend at all.
Okay. That seems like a good characteristic for someone who's in customer service and support and that type of stuff.
Yes, especially in like the technology worlds, because things are changing so often that you're like, today I might need to do some engineering, like help them give a bug, and tomorrow I may need to be, with sales and helping them this. So you definitely have to wear a lot of hats.
Okay, so is that how you kind of, I guess, found your way into officially customer service managing and being like, okay, well, I've tried on all these hats. This is really the hat that works best for me.
Yeah, definitely. It gives me the opportunity to do a bunch of stuff while also building up people that I think can do the same. Because I think people have the potential to be like this, but they just don't know what that looks like.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun. I was like, I don't know. I never think of myself as the expert, but as the farther I go, I'm like, man, maybe I do know a little bit about this. Maybe I can teach the next set of people to do this. And I mean, my team at Record 360, I'm biased, but definitely the best team. So,
I mean, I would hope that you would think that.
Yeah, I would hope so too.
They're at least like,
they're okay. Yeah. No, I'm obsessed. I love my team.
Okay, well, good. Speaking of your team at Record 360, we've gone through and you've gotten acquired by GoFundMe, and somehow you end up at Record 360. How does that happen?
Yeah, so I actually reached out to my CEO at UCaring once I had kind of had maternity leave. I'd done like little odd jobs. I'd done a bunch of different little things. And I was like, hey, I'm ready. I'm bored. I'm bored of being home. Like, I'm ready to start work again. Is there any companies? So ASG owned Record 360 as well. So they owned UCaring. So they just acquire and then they sell. And so he introduced me to a handful of companies that ASG owned and was like, yeah, let's have you interview with them. So I interviewed with a handful of them, but Record 360 seemed like a really good fit. I really enjoyed, I got to talk to Kat, and then we had Jesse Buckingham, and what they needed was that person who wears all hats and gets to learn on the job. And I got to learn a little bit of coding, so that was kind of fun. And so, 5.5 years ago, I just kind of made the decision, felt like this is where I should go, and that's where I ended up.
And have you always been doing customer service for Record 360, or have you had several of these other hats?
No, I definitely I've been focused on customer service and building that team up. So when I started, there was one. So there was me, and then now there's 3 under me, and then a success department as well. So we've definitely built out that entire thing.
Okay, so I guess, can you take me a little bit through that process? Obviously, when you're a team of one, you kind of know everything your team knows, and you don't have to worry about necessarily leading people and getting everyone on the same page. What were some of the things that you had to learn as you became a manager of several people?
Yeah. So I had some good training from you caring as well, preparing the training portion of it. So like you said, I do know most of everything that's going on, but then training them, I had a good understanding of the documentation that was needed in that, how to teach other people how to do things. But the things that I probably had to learn more so were the skills of how to manage personalities that may be different within the workflow and like workplace and how they intermingle together. So as you add more people, it becomes more and more apparent of like, oh, how can I be more resourceful and helpful to you? So I definitely had to learn that. Had some great courses. Record 360 has been great about providing like professional development and coaches and things like that. So I definitely went through the process of how do you manage people well? Like, I don't want to just be an okay boss. Like, I want to be the best boss. I'm an overachiever.
I was gonna say no pressure.
No pressure, none.
Again, you can't be like a top 5 boss. It's like, okay, no.
No, I got to be the best.
Has to be top 2 and not 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are, you're the head of support also at Record 360. Which title do you prefer? Is it an actual? Do you have an official title?
I think it's just customer support manager at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, since you all don't have like a headquarters office, except for now with Point of Rental, you share ours.
Yes.
Every once in a while. And I feel weird about inviting myself to people's houses. I don't get a great view of what people do these days. So what does your day look like as a customer service or support manager?
Yeah. So a lot of times, so since it is from home, it's very nice. It's easy. We just come in, and I like to weekly meet with my team, kind of get a tone of like where are we at with our tickets. So we help serve all of our customers. We do the technical implementation. We, answer questions. So a lot of times it's, hey, what do you need from me? As your manager, what can I do to support you best? And then I will also jump in and also help with the tickets and help with any large enterprise customers as well that I may have a little bit more background on. So between that, and then I have multiple meetings, whether that be with product or engineering, letting them know the different bugs that have come in or, feature requests, things like that, as well as meeting with any success team members that may need my help. And every once in a while, like sales will bring me on a demo, and I get to answer some really fun questions about what our product can do. So get to talk to the customers directly.
Interesting. So like, out of all the many potential tasks that you can do, what's your favorite? Ooh. You have to pick one. Sorry.
I have to pick one.
Yep. That means all the other ones are going to feel sad and be like, "Wow, I can't believe she."
Well, then I have to. I know. Well, then I have to say, getting to chat with my team, like my support team, and hearing, what's going well and what maybe isn't. That's probably my favorite. Just getting to cheer them on. I never thought I'd be a cheerleader in high school, but I'm a cheerleader now and proud of it.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. I mean, if they're finding success, then obviously that's a lot better than the alternative.
Yes.
Okay. I had a follow-up question, but I forgot it.
That's okay.
So you know what we're going to do? We're going to go into the next section.
Sounds good.
All right. Before we get into other things, we're going to play a game called Brace or Disgrace. If you agree with it or it's true, say brace. If you disagree with it or if it's not true, say disgrace.
Okay.
And then I'm going to need a reason for whichever your answer is. So brace or disgrace, you've been known to cry at movies.
Brace. Oh, yeah. I'm a big crybaby.
Okay. Is there like a particular kind of movie that it's like, oh, that's...
No, you put on a really sappy commercial and I'm going to be crying at it. Yes. Oh, yeah. No, I feel my emotions.
Okay. What's the most recent the movie or commercial that's gotten you?
Oh, there was one recently. I feel like it was on during football. And I was like, why am I crying at this? I can't remember what it is now. It probably was one of those ones where like the army, like the kids or whatever, those ones get me every time. You put on a kid seeing their dad or their mom for the first time, I'm like, you're going to get me to sob for a few minutes.
See, I was in the military, so that one got like overplayed for me, and I'm like, all right, I'm over this one, guys.
Oh, you got jaded. That's so
exactly.
sad.
So
no.
Yep. All right, brace or disgrace? You cheat at border card games.
Okay. So I have. Okay.
It sounds like you're going to say brace, and then you're going to have some excuses.
Hey,
for why that's okay.
No. It's disgrace. I do not cheat, but I'm really good at finding the rules to bend and to like help me win. So it's not, some people would call it's not cheating.
Can I get an example of a bendable rule? Because I like to bend rules, but I don't necessarily.
So this is a funny story, actually. So we did a scavenger hunt the first year I was at Record 360.
Okay.
It was in town where you had to go to all these different places and you had to get the different stuff. And just like, I don't know, you're just running around to get these tasks. Well, it said in the rules, it said you are not allowed to get like an Uber or Lyft. You have to, you have to walk. And I was like, great. Okay. You can't hire a car. I said, well, Keith, you own a car and it's here. So we're driving that car. So
true.
I'm like, you said we couldn't buy a car, but he has it. So yeah, definitely bent that rule and we should have won, but technicalities, and they said it was cheating, but it wasn't. It was not cheating. Agree?
Maybe
Brace
you should have
Disgrace
like,
you.
I was going to say, I kind of agree with your case.
Yeah.
Although I'm usually a spirit of the law type person.
No,
I'm not a spirit of the law. Mostly for other people, I guess.
Yes, exactly.
It depends how much I want to get away with something.
Yes.
I guess in your situation, I would be like,
are you on my team? That's the question.
I know it was wrong, so I'm not going to be actually mad if you enforce it, but also like, technically I was right.
Yeah.
All right. Brace or disgrace, you've told an outrageous lie to a child.
I tell them Santa's real. Doesn't that count? And is that an outrageous
so many people
lie?
are going to that one. It's terrible. We're recording this in December, so.
I'm like, I know. Well, like that's the first thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know that our Dobby is real. I'm like, that's a pretty outrageous lie that a magical creature flies around our house doing mischief just in December. So.
I mean, yeah, some of those things are just like, you have to have the fun in there while they're still going to believe it.
Yes, I'm like,
it's not fun if it's.
I'm not doing this to hurt them. It's only for their joy. Like they get so excited. I'm not like, so I'm like, I feel like it's okay.
Yeah, don't get jaded like me, kids.
Yeah.
Brace or disgrace, your favorite fast food fries are from McDonald's.
Disgrace.
I was going to say, I feel like if you're from,
I will eat them. They're not bad. They're just not the best.
Okay, what are the best?
Okay, when you say fast food, does Red Robin fries count?
No.
No?
No, it's a sit-down restaurant. Come on now.
It is, but it's like you can get it in Uber, Uber Eats.
No, that would be cheating. Then everything's fast food.
Okay, then probably In-N-Out fries, but you have to get them made just right, like well done.
Okay, I was going to say, what's the proper order for?
I personally like them well done, but not too well done. So you have to have the right fry guy making it. See, I'm just picky.
Okay, I was going to say that's going to be an interesting order when you go in and you're like, well done, but not too well done.
Yeah, like not you. Can you actually have him make them, please?
Okay, that's a very inside thing. I don't think I'm going to be able to use that.
Yeah, it's like it's well done and light salt, because there's a lot of times well done is made. They'll take a fry that's already been cooking, that's been in the basket, so it already has salt on it, fry it for a little bit longer, and then more salt, so it's too salty. So if you light salt it, it's just the right amount.
See, I like salt, so that was how I would make my fries at McDonald's. I would salt them and then put them back in.
Yes.
Salt them again.
So your well-done fries are probably perfectly salted.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good to me. Brace or disgrace. This is the final one, by the way. Brace or disgrace. You have an embarrassing nickname or a nickname that you hate.
Brace. Doesn't everybody?
Some people don't. Some people are okay with whatever you call them, but
I'm not embarrassed by it, but I was embarrassed as a kid.
Okay, so it was a kid nickname.
Yeah, it was Sarah Jeannie Weenie. So as a 8th grader girl in junior high, I was not very fond of that one. Now I think it's cute.
I was going to say, why Jeannie Weenie?
My name is Sarah Jean, and so my mom would just call me Sarah Jeannie Weenie.
Oh, it's from your mom. Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I think it's cute now. I'm like, because her name is Barbie Jean, so hers was Barbie Jeannie Weenie too. So it's like a generational thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who started it.
It's the equivalent of a junior, but for nicknames.
Yeah. But a Jean. Thank goodness my daughter. I didn't have a daughter. Poor thing would have gotten the same thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's take a little break, and then we'll head into the other side of things in the questions. I should have thought through this transition. Oh, well.
At first, I was excited that people really started noticing me.
Looking good, Scotty.
Hey, Scott, where'd you get that shirt?
That shirt? Jeez! Hey, you been working out?
But now it's hard to not feel like a piece of meat sometimes. Yeah, no, so I'm just working on this profiles things for Salesforce, and I just don't know this. But dude, come on, my eyes are up here. The shirt is really nice, though. I just wish people would stop obsessing over it. Hey, come on, man, not you too. All right, this interview's over.
Okay, Sarah, I asked you for a personal mission statement before this episode.
Yes.
Is that something that you just made up for the sheet as in to complete an assignment to make the assignment the taskmaster happy, or is it something that you actually like have a real personal mission statement and you remember it?
No, it is more so I made it like it's all about kindness. But I was like trying to get into words what it was. So I looked it up and I was like, what resonates with the feeling and what I tell my kids, and that's what it did.
Okay, so what is it? I have it here.
No, you
so
have to read it. You said you had it.
I have it as in just in case you don't have an answer at all, and in case you forget it. So I'm really just judging you and grading you.
Oh my gosh!
The last person knew theirs exactly. So
oh my gosh! No, but I just told you
it is very kindness related.
Yes, it is. It's all about kindness,
all
and
right.
Yeah, no act of kindness goes wasted.
Okay,
it's part of it.
I'm gonna call that good enough. I'm gonna give you at least
a C plus.
Yeah, well, at least it definitely has to be in the 70s, high 70s. Your full thing was, my mission is to live with intentional kindness, guided by the belief that no act of kindness is ever wasted.
Yes.
So I think that last phrase was the key phrase. So
yeah, exactly.
Okay. So basically, my follow up question is, what's an example of a time where that was like put to the test the most? I assume it's kids, but is it something else?
I mean, it's day-to-day life. I feel like how often you can choose to be unkind in situations because you feel overwhelmed or frustrated and things like that. I mean, it's as simple as getting in the Starbucks drive-thru and somebody honking at you because you're doing something wrong, and then buying them a cup of coffee because you're like, oh, you're probably just having a really bad day and it's not about me, So it's the little things when choosing instead of, oh, I'm going to react in hate or anything like that. It's choosing to be kind instead and basing your actions off of that internal decision. And we tell our kids that all the time. And we judge kind of their decisions off of it a lot of times. They'll, either they're fighting or whatever, kids. And it's like, okay, is that kind? And so they now know if Mommy gets upset, Mommy, is that kind? It's like it's our little thing that we say between us. Because when we talked, my husband and I were like, we have to like put ourselves on something, and a lot of it was around kindness. And it's easy to judge. Like I'm like, it's simple. Like, is it kind?
Okay, so you're able to do this consistently?
Yes, I'm not saying it's easy.
I was going to say, because it feels like sometimes, especially hearing it from the kids, it's like,
oh yeah. No, it can be, it's not easy, but it's a good challenge. I mean, I love growth. Like we're a very growth mindset family. And so when I get challenged by my kids, can I just say my internal wants to be like, shut up. No, you're wrong. But like, then I like think about it and like come back to it. I'm like, wait, you're right. Like this is who I want you to be. And watching them display that with other kids and getting the reports back from their teachers, like, it's just it's so sweet.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's, like you mentioned earlier, like one of your favorite things is like getting like some of that positive feedback and interaction with your team. And it's like, I think the like next tier level of it is when you're a parent and like people are saying nice things about your kids. It's like, oh, that's the best.
Yes, no. My son got an award recently at school, and I was like, winning. I just won a game. Nobody else is playing this game, but I feel like I'm winning.
I feel like secretly everyone's playing that game. So
when you're hyper competitive, everything's a game.
Yeah, exactly. You also mentioned that you like to do audiobooks and reading at the same time. So I have some questions because there's many ways that this can work, I think. Are you reading and listening to different books over periods of several days but not concurrently? Are you listening to this very same book that you're reading as you're reading it, so you're hearing the words as you're reading them and getting kind of a surround like experience? Or are you reading and listening to two different books at the same time and understanding both of them? So you must be like a more advanced form of life than I am.
It is not the third. It's definitely not the third. It's the second one. So I get distracted really easily. So that I don't do that, because what I would do is I would put an audio and then I would scroll. and then I'd be listening and doing two things at once. And I could do that, and it was fine. But I was like, okay, but what I want is to be immersed in this world of this book. So what I've decided to do is, like you, I read at like 2+ on here because that's how fast I read, and then I have it in front of me, and I'm just sitting there like going quickly. So it's like my mind is going, my ears, everything. So it feels like I'm fully in the world.
Okay, part of me wants to say you've heard of movies, right?
Yes, and I watch them constantly. Okay. So this is because I've almost run out of movies and TV shows.
Okay, yeah, that is the problem with like watching things faster than they're intended to be consumed.
Yes.
Is like, oh, I've consumed the entire internet.
Yes. Whoops. And I don't like the other parts, so yeah. I'm not going to watch that. So I've consumed what that I know is good at this point.
Okay. So if people have recommendations, what kind of things would you be interested in their recommendations of? Like, what are the parts
from other people?
Yeah.
I'm a good TV shows. I mean, I love a good like mystery, action, anything zombie, but I've probably already watched it. Okay. To be fair, I've watched all of those. I do like good teenage, young adult stuff, but I've probably watched them all again. Like I love my Yellowstone. I love, that kind of feel. I mean, honestly, you could recommend just about anything. The only thing I'd probably say that I cannot seem to get into is like anime and cartoons.
Okay.
I'm trying. I have a good friend at work who's been trying to get me to watch Arcane, and I am like 3 episodes in, and I just cannot. I'm just still trying.
Yeah. All right. I think we have the same thing of like, I talked. The last person that I talked to had mentioned that she really got into anime, and like that's a lot of the things that she watches, and it's like, it's great for other people. I'm glad that they enjoy it. I don't get it.
I'm trying. I try so hard because I'm like, there's so many. So many.
Like,
so I'm
there
like,
would be so much more of a world for me.
I know, but I just can't. I don't know. I space out. I don't know if it's like because it's just not real. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, my kids love Pokemon, so got that on all the time.
Okay, well, maybe someday.
Yeah.
And then you can teach me the path to figuring it out.
We'll try.
All right. And I guess the next thing is when you're not taking your kids to sports practices and games, which I'm sure exhausting, takes up lots of time.
Yes.
You said you love sewing and crafty things. Mm-hmm. Sometime you can hang out with my wife, who also loves these things.
Nice.
What is your favorite sewing style?
Ooh.
Weird question. Why did I write that?
I don't know if it's a style. Yeah, I'm like, I didn't know when you said that. For me, it's really, I just see something and I go, can I make it? And so I've done that with outfits, done it with like bags. I've made a really cool backpack before, like from start to finish. I've made Christmas decorations all the time. Did the like skirt, the tree skirt. That was really fun. The stockings. So really it just, whatever I see that goes, ooh, let me try to make it. And I'm such a, let me try to do it without any instructions first, and then find the instructions later once I've totally messed it up.
Unless you happen to get something that works at the beginning and you're like, yep. That clearly is how it's supposed to be done.
Yeah, exactly. Which I will say, stockings, not one of those things because you got to turn them inside, and I'm like, I needed a pattern for that one, which was crazy because they look simple.
Yeah, they certainly do. All right. Well, I'm not making any stockings, so I'm not too concerned about it. My next question, can we see your sewing machine tattoo? Because you said that you have one.
All my tattoos. So we've
we've
got my singer, my dress form, my thread, my flowers, and my sewing things. So yeah, nice and large.
That's a lot more than I was expecting for a sewing machine tattoo. That's very nice.
Thanks.
Have you considered any other craft related tattoos? And if so, what other machines would you go with?
I would get, I love my serger, which is just another sewing machine. I do love that. It's anything embroidery. I love that. I cannot knit though. I've tried many times.
Interesting.
Can't seem to knit. But yeah, I think those were the main ones that I probably would get.
Yeah, those are bigger machines. Those are.
Yeah. That definitely can. I'm like, I would definitely put those on. I mean, I just like tattoos, so.
Yeah, I feel like, if you were into like knitting or crocheting or something, then those would be like a cool like crossbones thing underneath another thing. Okay.
If I could do it, I mean, maybe a quilt tattoo, some sort of quilt thing. That'd be pretty cool.
Okay, well, I like that. It makes it seem much more hardcore to be sewing. And then obviously the final question, is this why one of your early jobs was at an embroidery shop? Have you been like sewing since you were a youth, or is this something that you experienced like later on?
So I actually learned how to sew from my grandma. She would sew all the dresses for the debutantes for our little tiny town in Shasta Lake City for all their dresses every year. And so she taught me before she passed away. So I've been doing it since I was little. The embroidery shop actually was just kind of a fluke. It was after In-N-Out. I didn't want to kind of be by a hot stove while I was pregnant.
Yeah.
And so it's
seem
kind
like
of
a
in
good idea.
between. No, it was very uncomfortable. And
One thing is when you're having a child, definitely put them near a large hot grill.
yeah, with a big old belly.
Yeah.
This is a great idea. You know, it's funny how many women do it, though. It's impressive. I was not one of those impressive women, unfortunately. And then the embroidery shop, I was just another admin job, and it just happened to be embroidery. But yeah, it was very random because I'm like, I have experience, but yeah.
They never asked you to jump in.
No, I was waiting for the day that they tapped me in, but they never
You're
did.
like, the one time I want to wear multiple hats.
I know, but this was like the big machines, not the hand
Oh, okay.
stitch. Like it was a process to learn.
Okay. What's something that people misunderstand about you?
Yeah, that's a great question. Many people actually think I'm an extrovert and think
Okay.
like I'm highly extroverted because I'm pretty personable. I'm actually very much an introvert. Like I get my energy from being alone, and so I don't mind extroverting. Like I'm I like to call myself the ambivert
Okay.
of all people because I'm like I can wear all the hats again, but my preference I would love to sit at home and watch a TV show with my husband. Like that would fill me right up.
Well, I'm glad that as soon as you arrived here, we could start you in a conversation and you would have to get involved in talking with people.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for me? You get exactly one.
Ooh, and you have to answer it honestly.
I only answer questions honestly.
Okay. Who has been your favorite guest?
Now you're asking me to actually remember every
Yep.
guest that has ever been
Yep.
a guest. Well, it's going to take a long time to remember this. See, maybe I shouldn't have.
You
Maybe I shouldn't have offered this.
ended.
Because now I'll have to go back. In order to give you a proper answer,
Uh-huh.
I feel a need to give a full accounting, and I can't just go off my memory. I would have to go back through every single thing, and I will send you a message later
Okay.
via Slack
Oh.
with my favorite. I can
Okay,
say
then if you're going to send it and you're not going to give it to me now, you have to say why.
okay. I have a favorite one that before I was the host of the podcast. We had an original person who was a more outgoing person that I was like, you should be the face of this. I'll produce this in the back.
Yeah.
And my favorite one is my friend Thomas out there
Okay.
because he will say stuff and he tries to be very respectful,
Uh-huh.
but just the way he says things sometimes so inappropriate. And it's like, Thomas, I know you're saying this from a good place, but no, you can't say it that way.
Let's rephrase. Let's try again.
And so at the beginning, I was doing outtakes for the end, and I just took all the stuff out of context. And it made him seem like such a monster.
I love
was
it.
Great.
I need to watch that outtake.
There is nothing to watch because this is before we did video. So,
Oh, man. So I have to listen to it. Okay.
yeah. Or you can just meet Thomas out there, and you'll
See it.
understand.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get him in more videos.
That's great.
Okay. Before we get to the 5 important questions, I need you to give me a top 5 list in a segment we'll call Give Me 5.
I was trying to think about this. I don't know actually what you mean. Like,
I'll
I do kind of.
I'll explain
but I'm
how
like,
top 5 list works.
I get how it works. I'm just trying to think of something that I could actually do that I have 5 things for.
Okay. Well, again, I have some suggestions for you.
Okay.
We have a top 5 TV shows. Like if you have like this list of media that you enjoy, top 5 craft projects you've made. It sounds like you've made many of them, like projects you made that you're kind of proud of. Obviously, we don't necessarily have pictures, so you'll have to kind of describe them a little bit. But top 5 worst craft mistakes you've made, or because it's always fun to hear the mistakes. And yeah, exactly. And that was all I really had.
Yeah, I know.
I was trying to inspire you to come up with a better list.
I mean, I was really trying here because I'm like, I can't give you a top 5 because they're all different categories and you couldn't combine them all for TV shows. That's just impossible. So I'm like, do I give you? I'm trying to think of all the names.
Ooh, top 5 orders at In-N-Out.
Ooh, top 5 orders.
Top 5
So I go with
items
my
from
least,
the secret menu.
The least to my
Yeah,
most.
you need to start off with number 5.
Okay. Okay. Let's start with.
All right, you have a number 5. Your fifth best In-N-Out order.
Okay, so these are all going to be from different little categories, but it'd probably be the floats are my favorite. So you just ask for, like mine, I'd get a Coke float.
Okay.
And so instead of like root beer or something like that, you get a Coke float because you get your little bit of sweet and all that.
So that's number 5?
That's number 5.
Okay, what's your number 4? What's better than a Coke float?
Better than a Coke float. I'm trying to remember. Okay, so this is hot take, but getting extra tomatoes on anything, but I love tomatoes. So it's not that big of a deal, but getting extra tomatoes on there is definitely there.
I've never heard anyone say I want extra tomatoes on a sandwich before.
I am a big extra tomatoes. And then
okay, number 3?
Number 3 would be the chopped chilies. Gotta get chopped chilies. So you can get the chilies on them, right? Like they're like little. I think they're not banana peppers, but yeah. So you just ask them for chopped chilies on there.
Interesting. Back when I went a lot more, I was not as interested in spice, and now as I've grown older, I've become able to handle it a little more. So I might be interested in that.
I'd say like light chopped chilies for you, and then they just put a sprinkle of them, and then it just gives you just enough heat so that you need your vanilla milkshake to dip your fries in and to have that.
Okay. I was gonna say that's not spoiling what number 2 or number 1 are.
No.
Okay.
Number 2 would be the animal fries, but I get no cheese, extra spread, extra grilled onions on them. You can get extra of anything; it's not an extra charge.
Okay.
And make sure the fries are well done so they're not soggy. That'd be my number 4.
Okay.
And
that's number.
Number 2. Sorry.
Up.
Yes. Up.
All right.
Up. Sorry.
Your number 1, the best thing that you can order at In-N-Out is what?
Getting a whole grilled onion on your burger.
Okay.
Is mine like?
So it's just like that full slice, which it's a little much
chopped.
if it's raw.
Raw not good.
Yeah.
But if you whole grill and they actually have to press it and make it nice and caramelized, but they put it over. I don't see when I made it, it wouldn't actually go on the meat because then it cooks the meat wrong. You'd actually put it on the tomatoes and then you'd put lettuce and do that. So you'd build it differently. That's me when I was working there. But yeah.
So you do that, and then you have extra tomato. Like it seems like
and
this burger's
extra
gonna be
tomatoes.
extra thick.
Oh, it's huge.
Okay.
It's massive. Yeah, no, it's massive. And then you have your fries to dip in your vanilla shake, and yeah.
And this is with a double.
No, I'm a hamburger. I'm not even. I don't even do.
I was
the
gonna
cheese.
say I used to do 4x4. So.
Oh my gosh, I remember having to cook people would come in and think it's funny to get the 20 by 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
I was like,
that.
no, I need to actually be able to eat it though.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's move on to first pitch.
Oh, yes.
We're in the rental industry here at Point of Rental. So in a month, we're going to make you start a rental business. This is not real life probably, but you have a month. What would you start your rental business? What would you rent?
Okay, so that was actually really fun. So I've been seeing these carts online, and they have they're basically like a fridge underneath that keeps it cold, and they're little containers, and they're like build your own charcuterie board kind of vendors. So I would actually rent that like thing out to weddings and just be like, have your own charcuterie board build thing there. Because I think it's really cute. I wouldn't be anything too serious. It would be very cutesy.
It's more of a fun on the side type thing. It feels, okay.
Yeah. Because I mean, people who run their own business doing all of that can make a decent amount, but I'm like, I'm just going to rent out the whole thing for that. And you take it and you build it.
And also you like your current job. So like, why do you want another entire career?
I mean, right?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and turn these cameras on and start recording, and we'll go ahead and do the 5 important questions.
5 important questions. 5 important questions. 5 important questions.
All right. We're going to start off with the 5 important questions. We like to start off with an easy one. So what would you say is your greatest success in life?
Ooh, it's a tie between my husband and my kids. My marriage, I've been married 11 and a half years to the love of my life. And I don't know. It's just the best marriage. Like everybody talks about how it's hard and, the first year it's so, but for me, it's so easy and I don't know. I'm just very proud of that. So, and having the 2 kids with that, the stress of it, and they're just wonderful boys, and just the family that I've created. I'm super proud of it.
I was gonna say, so you like them? And
Yeah, I'm pretty obsessed with them.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Number 2, what is your greatest fear?
Ooh, if we're going like physical fear, drowning.
Okay,
We're going physical fear.
why? Outside of the obvious, like it sounds terrifying to actually do. Is there a particular reason for a fear of drowning, or?
I don't know what it is. I feel like maybe I had some nightmares as a kid or whatever, because there's nothing scary. Like, I will watch horror films, but as soon as somebody starts to drown, I'm like, turn it off. I can't do it. I cannot do it. It's too much for me. It's just like overwhelming.
Okay, well,
And I'm a good swimmer. Like, I swam in swim teams. So
okay, so it's not a case of like you're actually afraid of going in the water.
No.
It's a case of I will not be the one to drown
Yeah.
because I'm going to learn to swim.
yes, no, I have equipped myself. I'm just afraid of like somehow being like stranded somewhere and like on a boat or something. And yeah, no, all these crazy fears, they're irrational.
Okay. How do you feel about Robin Hood Men in Tights? Have you seen that? Where he's pretending
years ago. Years. It has been so
pretending
long.
he's drowning in like 3 inches of water. Does that one trigger you, or are you okay with that?
No, that one's fine. That one's
Okay.
totally fine.
Good. If you could tell first day at, you get the opportunity to go with 2 choices. So
Okay.
first day at Record 360 or
Okay.
first day at Point of Rental, because you guys recently joined Point of Rental. If you could tell first day Sarah one piece of advice, what would you tell her?
I would tell first day Sarah that she's going to learn really fast. Like, give herself grace. I think I got really overwhelmed. This is Record 360, having to learn how to like do some coding in there and learn like JSON.
Yeah.
I was like beating myself up that I didn't know it the first day. Who would?
Yeah.
And I think I would just tell her like, don't worry, you're going to get really good at this. Like, you're going to be an expert, so don't even worry about it. So,
Okay, so now you're really good at this. And
really good at it now. Yeah, I can troubleshoot most of the issues.
Okay. What is something that you believe that it feels like no one agrees with you on?
Ooh, that yogurt tastes like rotten milk.
Okay, well, it's very weird that everyone's response to this is like, kind of agree.
Yeah.
I remember I was in Marine Corps boot camp, and you are basically starved for food. Like you never get enough food. And when we had like the options, it's like, yeah, even if it's the only thing I can eat, rather just die.
Yeah, yeah. It's just so. My husband eats it every morning, and I'm like, it's the most. The smell alone, I'm like, this is nasty, and I know it's good for you. So I wish I liked it, and like it's so easy on the protein, but it's so gross.
I know it's good for you, but at what cost?
I know, right?
All right. Well, I'm sorry you've been sentenced to death, as believing yogurt is gross is now a capital offense. So, what is your last meal?
My last meal.
Assuming it's not yogurt.
In and out, no. Just kidding. Ooh, I would probably a good steak. I love a good steak, like a good New York strip that's cooked just perfectly, like.
What's
good,
just perfectly?
Like a medium.
Okay.
Like a good medium. Nothing. It cannot have be well. That's disgusting.
Okay.
With like some sort of mushroom. Like I'm obsessed with mushrooms. So, along with like the shrimp on top or something like that. Just a good, what are those? What are the ones?
Let's run up the bill on this.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure. I don't like lobster, so it's shrimp. Yeah. Shrimp is cheap, or crab, whatever.
Okay. Are you having any beverages or desserts?
I am having Zevia because I don't know if you've heard of it.
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
Okay, so it's just a 0-calorie, like basically.
I feel like
drink.
you can have as many calories as you want.
But it's not about the calories. I'm actually obsessed with the taste of it. Okay. So it's I used to be obsessed with Coke, but that was bad for me. And now when I try it, it's too sugary because I've gotten used to Zevia. So I would definitely do that. And then dessert-wise would be a pie. Give me all the pies. I love a warm pie, like a fruit pie.
I was going to say, now I feel like I should bring in the pies because we have a bunch of pies that we made for Thanksgiving.
Oh, nice.
I can only eat so much pie.
Yes. Yeah. No, I think I overdosed a little bit on pumpkin pie this year.
Yeah. Okay, if you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be? This is like a magic scenario, and you don't have to, work overtime.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would. Can I just make myself like extremely smart?
Sure. I mean,
like like Albert Einstein level
actually-
or higher. Like,
I don't make the rules.
yeah. I'm like, tell me, is this? I'm like, what?
I'm not an actual genie. You know this isn't going to actually happen, right?
What rules can we break? No, I would just make myself like extremely, extremely smart. Like understand and have that like eidetic memory. Those people that see something once and remember it always.
Okay. But you don't want to read people's minds.
No.
Okay.
No, I think there's too much garbage going
it's
on
like,
in there.
hey,
No
I-
thanks.
no,
The kindness would be a lot harder to do.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, sometimes not knowing things,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Yeah. Ignorance is bliss in those moments.
Yeah. If you could change one thing about point of rental, what would it be? Again, magic snap change.
I don't think I have enough information on point of rental to know what I
Okay.
would change.
We'll circle back around on that one later on.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll follow up in a year or so. With
Yes.
we'll
Yes.
have some.
Sounds good.
Tell me a secret about, we'll say, Record 360, something that not enough people know about.
A good secret about Record 360.
And I know basically nothing, so like everything's going to seem like a secret.
Everything's
to me.
going to be a secret. Gosh, I feel like everything's known. Something
That, just
about-
because you know everything
I
doesn't mean the rest of us do.
I know, that's terrible. That like customizing it is actually pretty like easy to do, and like if you can think about it, we can do quite a bit. We don't want to do it all, but yeah, we have a lot of fun figuring out what we can do to make it work for you. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it seems easy when you know all the coding.
Yeah.
You're an expert
I
coder.
don't know all the coding. I know how to build a workflow.
Okay. Is there anything that I should have asked that people need to know about you, but I was like, Brian, you probably should ask this question, but you're not very good at what you're doing. So
I hope nobody says that to you. You're doing great.
nope. I like to neg myself.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. I think you asked really great, insightful questions.
All right,
Very
good.
fun.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the compliments and for chatting today.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you out there to Andrew and Daria for your help with producing this. Thank you to everyone watching or listening, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And share this podcast with your friends so we can all talk about Sara behind her back. Well, I'll see you next month, and we'll keep the porch light burning for you.